Have you ever felt the excitement of a big idea? That flutter of joy when you envision something magnificent, something that could change your life forever. Perhaps you have shared it with friends, family, or even strangers. Maybe in the rush of enthusiasm, you shouted it to the world, expecting their cheers to fuel your ambition. Yet, strangely, sometimes the very act of telling everyone seems to drain your energy instead of boosting it. This is the story of a young man named Simon, a story about dreams, silence, and the quiet power of action. Simon lived in a small, picturesque village surrounded by rolling hills, meandering rivers, and fields that seemed to stretch endlessly into the horizon. The village was tight-knit. People knew one another by name, and news traveled fast. Simon was a young man with big dreams, so big that his heart often raced with anticipation. Every week, he imagined a new endeavor, a fresh path to greatness. One week, he decided he would open the biggest shop the village had ever seen. The next, he convinced himself that pottery was his true calling and envisioned himself creating beautiful, intricate pots. Soon after, the desire to build his own house captured his mind. The ambitions were limitless, yet Simon had a habit that would silently sabotage him. Before he ever began, he told everyone about his plans. With a sense of pride, he would stroll through the bustling market and proclaim, "I will open the grandest shop in this village." Villagers paused to listen, clapping politely, offering words of encouragement, and nodding with admiration. Simon's chest swelled with a warm glow of importance. That night, he slept peacefully, certain that tomorrow he would take the first step toward his dream. But when morning came, something curious happened. The energy that had fueled his imagination evaporated. The plans he had so confidently announced felt heavy, almost impossible to lift. Days passed, and the shop remained closed. The clay remained untouched, the walls of his envisioned house unbuilt. Time and time again, this pattern repeated. Simon would announce a new dream with great fanfare, only to let it slip away without action. He sought validation from the villagers, yearning for their praise, their applause, their recognition. Each round of encouragement felt like a small victory, but it was hollow. His hands remained empty, and his heart slowly grew heavy with the weight of unfulfilled aspirations. Simon was trapped in a cycle he could not break. Every announcement filled him with temporary pride, but the actual work, the effort, the dedication, the struggle remained untouched. One evening, feeling the familiar tug of failure, Simon wandered alone to the old well at the edge of the village. The sky was painted in shades of orange and crimson, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of ancient trees nearby. Lost in thought, he did not notice an elder approaching. The man was known in the village as quiet and humble. He never spoke much, but commanded respect through his wisdom and actions. The elder sat beside Simon without a word, observing the young man's despondent expression. Finally, with gentle curiosity, he asked, "My son, why do you look so troubled?" Simon sighed, a deep, wearied sound. "I have so many dreams," he confessed. "But I never finish anything. I don't know what is wrong with me. I feel like I am trapped in my own thoughts, like my ideas escape before they can become reality." The elder nodded slowly, his eyes reflecting a lifetime of understanding. "Tell me," he asked softly, "what do you do when you have a new idea?" "I tell everyone," Simon answered quickly, almost defensively. "I want them to know what I am going to do. I want them to feel proud of me." The elder's gaze remained calm, almost invisible in its quiet power. "Come with me tomorrow morning," he said. "I want to show you something important." The next day, Simon met the elder in a small, well-tended garden behind his modest home. The garden was alive with plants of all shapes and sizes. Flowers bloomed in vibrant colors, herbs exuded their fragrant scents, and vegetables thrived in neat rows. The elder held 2 seeds in his weathered hands, small and unremarkable, yet full of potential. He handed one seed to Simon. "Plant this in the soil," he instructed. Simon dug a small hole in the rich earth, placed the seed carefully inside, and covered it with soil, feeling a mix of hope and curiosity. The elder held the second seed aloft and called a few children who were playing nearby. "Look, everyone!" he exclaimed. "I have a seed. Soon it will grow into a beautiful tree. Watch how wonderful it will be." The children clapped, their faces glowing with excitement. The elder then placed the seed on a sunlit rock and walked away, leaving it exposed to the elements. Simon watched, puzzled as the elder said nothing further. Days turned into weeks. Simon tended to the seed he had planted, watering it carefully and observing its slow transformation. Tiny green shoots began to emerge, fragile yet determined. Each morning, Simon would check the soil, marveling at the subtle but undeniable signs of growth. The elder, meanwhile, remained silent, never drawing attention to the progress. The seed on the rock, however, remained lifeless. It dried under the scorching sun, pieces were carried away by birds, and its promise never materialized. After several weeks, Simon's seed had grown into a small, sturdy plant. The elder stood beside him, finally breaking the silence. "Simon," he said gently, "a seed needs silence to grow. It needs darkness. It needs protection beneath the soil. If you leave it exposed to the world, if you announce it too soon, it can wither, be stolen, or fail before it has a chance to thrive." Simon stared at the young plant, a slow understanding dawning upon him. The elder continued, "When you share your dreams too early, you experience a sense of accomplishment before the work has begun. People's praise becomes your satisfaction, their applause your reward. Your mind tells you the goal is already achieved, and so your heart loses the fire to continue. The energy needed for real action is wasted in words." Simon felt a flush of shame and recognition. He had been doing exactly what the elder described. Each time he announced a plan, he experienced a fleeting sense of triumph, only to abandon the work itself. The elder placed a hand on Simon's shoulder, warm and steady. "Dreams are fragile at the beginning. They need protection. Keep them quiet. Let them grow in the dark soil of your effort. When the tree is strong, everyone will see it. You do not need to announce it." That evening, Simon returned home with a mind buzzing with reflection. He sat alone by the fire, thinking of all the projects he had started and abandoned. The applause of the villagers, the words of praise, the fleeting recognition. He saw now how these had replaced the quiet satisfaction of effort. He realized that the real joy, the real growth, came from doing, from creating, from building something tangible with his own hands. In silence, the next morning, Simon made a decision. He would try something new. But this time, he would share it with no one. He would tell no friends, no family, no villagers. He chose a simple goal to build a wooden chair. He gathered the necessary tools: wood, nails, a hammer, and glue, and began working in a quiet corner of his small home. Days passed. Some evenings, he felt exhilarated, discovering new ways to shape the wood. Other days, fatigue weighed heavily on him, and mistakes left him frustrated. Yet, because no one knew of his endeavor, there was no pressure, no expectation, no external reward. Only his hands and the work before him mattered. Slowly, steadily, the chair began to take shape. Simon learned from each error, discovering the patience and focus that had eluded him for years. The wood became smooth under his touch, the joints firm, the structure balanced. When the chair was finally complete, he sat upon it, feeling something he had never experienced before: authentic pride. Not the shallow pride that comes from words, from applause, from recognition, but a deep internal satisfaction that arises only from accomplishment, from tangible creation. The next morning, Simon's neighbor happened upon the chair, standing proudly outside Simon's home. "Simon," he exclaimed, astonished, "is beautiful. When did you make it?" Simon smiled quietly, simply replying, "I've been working on it." His neighbor was amazed. "You never told anyone," he said. "I wanted to finish it first," Simon explained. Word spread slowly through the village. People admired his craftsmanship, but by then, Simon had already begun his next project, a small table. Again, he announced nothing, choosing to work in silence. Weeks later, the table was complete. Then came a shelf, a stool, and finally a cabinet. Years passed, and Simon's reputation as a skilled craftsman grew. Yet, he never boasted, never proclaimed his ambitions. The villagers respected him even more because his work spoke louder than his words. Simon had discovered a new rhythm to life, a rhythm of patience, quiet diligence, and the profound satisfaction of real accomplishment. Simon's life had transformed. He no longer sought validation before starting, no longer relied on applause to feel successful. Instead, he found a deeper reward, the quiet satisfaction of building something meaningful, of turning dreams into reality with his own effort. His story became a lesson not just for himself, but for everyone who observed him. Words alone cannot grow dreams. Action, persistence, and the humility to work unseen are what allow ideas to flourish into tangible reality. Now, think about your own life. How many times have you announced a goal only to lose the energy to pursue it? How many dreams have faded because you shared them too early, before the work had truly begun? Remember, when you speak too soon, you give away your power. You allow the reactions of others to replace your own effort. Protect your dreams. Keep them close. Let them grow quietly in the soil of your determination. When they are strong, the world will see them without a single word from you. So next time you feel the urge to broadcast your ambitions, pause, reflect. Let the seed of your idea grow in silence, nourished by effort, patience, and dedication. Only then will your dreams stand tall, resilient, and undeniable, a testament to your quiet strength and unwavering commitment. Because the world does not need to hear your plans, it only needs to witness your results. Simon's journey reminds us that the true measure of success lies not in the applause we receive, but in the work we do when no one is watching. And when the tree finally stands tall, when your creation is complete, the satisfaction will not be in the praise you receive, but in the quiet, unshakable pride of knowing that you made it real.